Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played on Two Lakes Duel between Zel Boba, or Zelly Boba, playing as 6th US, and he's going up against SuperPershing 1945, playing as 25th Soviet. So we'll cover the deck reviews, then the map, the matchup, the deployments, and the game, and as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so this is the deck review for SuperPershing 1945, and he's playing 25th Soviet. It's a fairly straightforward div, really. You buy BMP2s, you buy T-64s, and you buy air superiority fighters, and then you win. So, yeah, it's not a bad div by any stretch. It's just people don't really play it for some reason. I'm not sure why. Anyways, let's go through it tab by tab. So we've got 3 cards of supply here. I mean, yeah, you want to keep your arty firing. I see there's a grad here. So you want to keep the grad firing. And you want to keep your T-64s supplied. What I will say is that I'm very surprised at the lack of... Like, these are all 1-point slots. So why not fill them, right? Do you see what I mean? I'm trying to work out where all the points are. What I would recommend, honestly, get rid of the grad. You don't really need it. No, because that's only a 1-pointer. See, well, I suppose yeah, you could get some tanks. Yeah, weird. So, like something like this that's 3 points. So that's 6 tanks at 1 vet for 1 helicopter. It doesn't really make any sense, does it? So there you go. Now you can get 3 more tank cards. Why wouldn't you want that? So the idea is basically the T-64B will die in 1 hit to a 30 AP missile, which is every plane launched AT missile in the game, bar 2. And the T-64BV will not, because this has ERA, which gives it 1 more HP, which means it doesn't die. So that's the difference. Also, the ATGM is better, right? Well, obviously, these two don't have ATGMs, but you're paying 10 points to survive that missile, essentially. But you do lose availability. The thing about the T-64... So it's a damn shame, right? They're basically identical to T-80BVs in this game, except they're a bit slower. Everything else about them, like the gun and everything's the same. It's really unfortunate that they did that, because there's like a whole Soviet tank line that's just... It's almost identical to another one. And all they had to do was just, make it a bit different. Lower the ROF by 1, right? Lower the AP by 1. You'll note that this has 20 AP at 1925, which means it actually does have a different round in it to whatever's in this one, because this would be 21 AP at 1925. So, because it goes up by +1 for every 175 meters. So, yes, it is a shame. And that's, I guess, why people don't play Pact as much. One of the reasons. It's just boring. It's just a boring div. I mean, it's not a bad div, right? It can be fun to spam T-64s. It's just all the Pact divs, they all just kind of blur into one, right? Anyway, so getting rid of the helicopter gives you way more tanks. So you can either get these at 2 vet, or... Well, actually, these have the same availability. 5, 3, 2, 6, 4, 2. Okay. So, like, why not have a bunch more tanks, right? Which tank do you want? Do you want the most expensive one? Or do you want the most expensive one without the ATGM? Which you can buy at a rate of 1 a minute, and also you get... you get at a higher vet. It depends what you're facing. If you know what you're facing, what div you're facing, if they have... Because... If you're against like any of the UK divisions, except MBAD, I guess, they don't have AT planes. They've just got cluster bombs. So you could just bring the cheaper one. But if it's ranked, you are usually going to go into divs that have AT planes. So you might as well get the more expensive one. So why not get some more tanks? And they're all coming at 2 vet because you've got all this space. So I don't understand. Leaving that on the table really doesn't make much sense to me. So yeah, whichever one you want. There you go. Right, great. I've got some cheap ones. You could even down vet these because it's an auto loader. You don't actually benefit that much from vetting them because the rate of fire doesn't actually go up. Because it's an auto loader. The machine doesn't work any faster if the guys have trained or whatever. Obviously, in real life it would, because they would press the button faster and whatnot. But obviously, it is a game. So yeah, now you've got 3, 6, 8 more tanks in exchange for one helicopter. You've got the drone anyway, so you know. Anyway, 3 cards of supply and a grad. Okay. CVs. So this is a 3 per card. Don't bring the Hilo one ever. And this is 2 per card, and you don't really want a BMP2 CV on the front lines because it's going to die. So you might as well get this and hide it at the back. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. And then for the supply, yeah, heavy supply and then light supply. This refills that. In a team game, you'd swap one of these out for a Hilo, because the Hilos are better in team games, because the bigger the map, the better supply Hilos are. Because they take off and they take time to take off and land, so in a smaller map, it's actually faster to buy the truck. Anyway, infantry, so yeah, BMP2. I see people bring this. They're wrong. It's just a dumb idea. For 10 points more, you get a BMP2, which has more armor and an autocannon instead of a flipping Grom, right? So it's just pointless to bring this. I see people bring it, and I beat them, so don't do that. So yeah, BMP2, and then you don't get any like cheap ATGMs in here, so I guess it makes sense to bring an infantry ATGM. It's just you don't get that much infantry. And then Saperi RPO at 1 vet. You got to be really careful to make sure these guys don't die. What you can do is bring them at no vet and then hide them behind somebody else who takes the damage. But I mean, yeah, you can just bring them at 1 vet and then it's just easier because then they can fight by themselves. And then, yeah, you want a card of infantry and trucks, and that can either be Moto Strelki, right, or it can be Pulmachiki, which for 5 points more, and you do lose 1 availability, which matters a lot on this div. They're just much better at being infantry, fighting other infantry, because of the 3 machine guns, so that's like 6 rifles, plus 4, that's 10, whereas the other guys is like 8. So, obviously the RPG's better, but on these guys, but, you know. So yeah, I agree with the Pulmachiki. What you can do is like bring regular sappers instead of the Saperi. The RPO is really good though, so anyway. Arty, so yes, mortars in the MTLB, you don't have a choice. But yeah, the idea is this is your smoke. This fires smoke. And then this fires howitzer shells at people you don't like. Between these two, get this, the Gian S is actually better at shooting, because it's got more range, which means that at the same range, it's got less dispersion. You see the rate of fire and everything else is the same. The advantage of the Mister is it's got armor and it's got smoke. Like this has less than 1 top armor, so it will die more easily to counter battery than this will. And this is a bit faster, and it's got some protection and whatnot. It also looks cooler. But yeah, it's just a shame that they're so similar. It's like with the tanks. It's just so boring. I know who's responsible.
I like money.
Dan_VH subscribed to the channel.
Thank you for subscribing. It is free. You can do it if you like. Do it anyway, even if you don't like. But yeah, it's just a shame. I mean, why not make it more interesting? Anyway, spoke about the tanks. So you buy this one at the start. This is really good. Like at the start of the game, it's really, really good because it's not got the range, but it's a really nice tank for 160, and it's got smoke, and the availability curve's quite nice. It's sort of like the Chieftain Mark 9, except, you know, better in every way sort of thing. T64A. So you see that I suppose range is worse. Accuracy is worse, but it fires way faster. It's got way more armor. It is also faster, as in it moves faster. The gun's better. It's got 1 more top armor. Yeah, what could I say? It is better. It does cost more, though. So, oh yeah, I suppose like, what is a 1920? This is probably the most expensive 1925 meter tank gun in the game. I'm trying to think of any others, and I can't. Like the T55A is obviously a lot cheaper. What about some of the T72s, maybe, like the base T72, and that's 130. And it fires slower, and it's got less armor, and it's not got smoke. It is faster, however. Whatever. Anyway, they're fun to use at the start of the game. So yeah, you can upvet them a lot, and then get all these out at the start. And yeah, this we already basically spoke a lot about this tab. It was just weird to me that there were so many 1-pointers not filled. Seems like a bit of a waste. Anyway, Razvedka BMP2 is broken, although since the autocannon nerfs, it's not as absurd. But the idea is that this is your ATGM that hides in a bush, and people don't see it when it shoots, and it's got 4 armor, it's a Conkers and whatnot. So yeah, you want 2 cards of that. What I will say is that like your opener is going to be really slow because you don't have anybody in trucks that are recon deployed. Like you don't have any airborne forward deployment, and so your opener is going to be slow. The idea is you rock up with a recon tank and just blow everybody up. So that's the idea, right? And then these are to give your tanks exceptional optics. So you buy it, Shift F, click on the tank. You used to have 6 availability, and all the NATO ones had 4, but now it's 4. So I think that's a good change. And then yeah, the drone is absurd. This is your recon helo, and it's even stronger than a recon. You can just fly it directly over the enemy. It's so dumb. Anyway, that helps you with your grad strikes and whatnot. AA, so Iglas, yes, you might as well upvet them by 1 because you get so many. Cubs, yes, don't upvet these. And then the Briusa. So it just depends, right? So essentially the Cub tends to deal 9 damage and the Briusa deals 1, so that can actually work quite well. The thing is that this has more anti-healer range, so if you come up against like Apaches, this doesn't help you very much compared to this. But against planes, this doesn't have as much range, right? And this does 1 damage and this deals 9, right? 9 plus 1, whereas this is probably going to miss. So it can work, it's just you're going to struggle against Apaches if you go for this option over the Strela, which you just upvet by 1. I don't recommend upvetting this. It doesn't have smoke or anything, so you're going to lose it quite a lot. Like, it's slower as well, and yeah, so I personally would go for the Strela 10M, just because tank division, you end up against Apaches, which is game over for you, basically. So I think that this is a safer bet in ranked. And you just sort of cope with the fact that, yeah, I'm just going to change it for you. There you go. Helis, so, like, obviously, why would anybody bring this when they could just bring this and get 6 of them and it's just the same? So it's just, I don't know. Anyway. AA Helo, I don't really like them personally, but if you're against enemy Helo, if you're against, like, some bozo playing 4th Polish where they open with all those Helos, then yeah, this could work because it shoots them all down. But against planes, it just dies anyway, so that is kind of annoying. It's only 1 per card and whatnot. But yeah, then this is a Kokon one. I guess it makes sense to cover all your bases, kind of like how this is a more safe option than this. Air tab, so the idea with 25th is that you open with... I suppose that's what this is for. Yes, the idea behind 25th is that you open with this, and then you... okay, I've got an idea. If you want to do that, and you really want to open with this, then I would get rid of the 3rd card of supply, get rid of the grad, upvet the Mister. So let's just do it now. I mean, the grad can be nice, it's just the opportunity cost is very high. So then you get rid of the 3rd card of supply, and then you've got 3 points, and then you can bring the recon helo, and then you can do the funny opener. And the idea behind the funny opener is you open with this and an ASF, and you open with the Rocket 2 instead of the Rocket 1. Now, the Rocket 2 can reliably one-pass any heavy tank in the anything. It reliably one-passes anything, because it fires 3 sets of rockets at it and the gun. So that would be why you bring the Rocket 2 instead of the Rocket 1. But I've noticed you brought the Rocket 1, so, you can still do the opener with the Rocket 1. It's just not as... to be honest, like, this is your anti-tank plane. So you don't need this one. There you go. Because this is the anti-tank. You just shoot them with this, and they die. So it's worth trying, and, you save some points, right? And it's a lot of fun. So there you go. fighter, really good fighters. The seed is mainly anti-helo, but also it works for seed to keep these alive, right? And you can strafe, like if you was to strafe a like a tracked rapier or something with this gun, you'd probably kill it. So yeah, the idea is you would open with the recon helo, then you would buy one or two of these and this, and you would just obliterate the entire enemy's opener. So you can do that. But then obviously you lose the grad. But I mean, like the grad, I want it to work in 1v1s. It's just usually, having two of these at one vet can snipe a heavy tank, right? And you can put a CV next to them and you can keep them firing a lot. The main thing is you're going to run out of supply. So, like, another thing you could... That's a two-pointer. Another thing you could do is get rid of this rocket plane, just have that one, or just keep this rocket plane, just have that one, and then put the supply back in or whatever. Anyway, it is what it is. It's better to have 3 cards of supply with this kind of thing going on, but, you'd have to lose too much to get it. But yeah, or you could just not do the funny. You could just get rid of this and put the grad back in and not do the funny opener. So, I'm giving you options, right? I can't just make the decision for you. Switching to his opponent's deck, we've got Zell Boba playing 6th YA. So basically, I've been playing this a lot, and I just sort of buy a bunch of planes at the start and just try and kill everything, and it works. Good 80% of the time, you can just win in 5 minutes. It's pretty funny. Yeah, so I'm seeing a recon. I'm seeing a Helo CV, which I don't want to see. So, I mean, 3 cards of this. Basically, you want the cheaper one as well, because sometimes you want just a cheaper one to hold a flank, and it's got good stealth and it's got an ITO anyway, so it's actually pretty good. So it's nice to sort of have that option. In terms of like this is just not a good idea basically. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. Problem solved. And then yeah, so you can use supply trucks, and then you can use the helo to refill them if you want. I just bring the Cook V supply, and then deal with the fact that this doesn't carry any supply. It's quite inefficient. But yeah, if you're clued in, you can land this at the back and just use this and then fill it up at this. It's just it takes more effort. And then yeah, this very, very cheap CV is nice because you can put it with your RT and whatnot. Infantry, so forward deployed CV, airborne leader. It's a very nice CV. 12 men with AT4s and smoke. Or you can bring the National Guard leader and have, 6 times 3, which is nice. It's only got 3 HP, never mind. So that, yeah, there's lots of CV options. Anyway, you want 2 cards of Navy SEALs. So these guys, right. So I see a lot of problems here. So these guys have stingers, really cool. The main thing is they come with a military police vehicle, which is really useful because it goes with your your reservist tanks and makes them actually work. So you want this one instead, right? And it's also got a stinger, so that's cool. So you can have a stinger up front with your guys. It's a lot of fun. Then you want 2 cards of Navy SEALs because they're incredible. So, what to get rid of? Yeah, just get rid of, like, all of this. And yeah, and probably that as well. Grenade launch you don't need, right? So the idea is that the National Guard guys, the fire team law comes with a grenade launcher Humvee. So you bring that, and so these are your fire support. The fire team Dragon in the grenade launcher Humvee, which he's already brought, and the fire team law in the grenade launcher Humvee. Then you want so for close range you've got the SEALs because they've got satchels, so you don't need flash, and you want 2 cards of SEALs because they're absolutely lit. Then you want recoilless rifles because recoilless rifles are incredibly good against infantry and they can reach out against vehicles. So you want 2 cards of those because they're really good. And then you can fill the last slot if you want to. Oh yeah, so I bring this. I think I bring it in the Dragoon because It's just faster than the Humvee, and it's got security, which means it's got mediocre optics. Wow. I just prefer the Dragoon because it's fast, right? Anyway, and it's a bit more armored. I mean, this is probably better because you can sell it, actually. These guys are good because they're 7 men with an AT4 and smoke and resolute and a DMR, which is like 4 rifles. So they've got 10 shooty power and resolute and shock and security. So they've got good optics when they're stood still and an AT4 and smoke for 45 points. And the transport's not half bad either. So, like, you obviously want that. And then, you know, RT, yeah, you need the Toad 155s, and then this is for smoke. You can bring this one for smoke or this one. This one goes further, so it can be more useful. I've experimented with using the howitzers for smoke. The only issue is if you've got recon pushed up, they get corrected shot, and then the dispersion's tiny, and then they don't do their job properly, so you don't want that. We spoke about this tank tab. Recon, so this is the Recon A10, and then... Right, so just downvet this because you want 6 of them because they're incredible. LRS and the grenade launcher, that makes sense. You don't need... So I've just given you, 9 more grenade launchers, so you don't need this. Alaskan snipers, I think, are bad. Basically, you want the Pathfinders, and the reason why... And you can bring them in this if you want, or you can bring them just in the car. I can't remember which one I do. I think I just bring them in the car. The thing is, right... Like, this is useful at the start, so maybe it's worth bringing it like that. It's just because I buy so many planes. Anyway, your forward deployment. These guys, they go at 90 kilometers an hour. Whereas this goes at 100, so you kind of need it. So that you can actually secure those spots at the start and not lose the opener. And they've got smoke and laws, so it's not so bad. These things, I'm pretty sure I bring at 1 vet, I can't remember. And I bring the recon helo, because the idea is at the start, you buy 2 of these, and an eagle, and you just absolutely destroy everything. It's really funny. I should probably cast some of the games where I did it, but they're all like 2-minute games, so I haven't got around to it. There's no point, really. Anyway. AA. So, yeah, Stingers. Yeah, Ihawk. And yeah, this is really good against infantry, so I can understand bringing that. Can't remember if I do or not, because you've got enough grenade launchers. But yeah, these are really good against infantry. Helis, so Tow Cobra, and then this Cobra. So, like, it is cheaper. It is worse because the guns aren't as good, but it is cheaper, so, whatever. And you just want it for the rockets, really. So I think I bring this one as well, I can't remember. And then Air, yes, you want both cards of Eagle. I bring the Super Seed as well. It used to not work properly, but I think it works a bit better now. Like, it actually will fire both of its missiles in one pass. It used to be that it had a very narrow cone of fire, and because it's so high up, it would shoot the first one, then it would just say, can't shoot, can't shoot, can't shoot, and then it would just die. Anyway, yeah, you want the A1080 at the start for the funny business. This is a really good bomber. This one... So, it can work. I think I bring it. It's just... Basically, this is something I've been trying, and it's better at sniping AA positions. The issue is it reloads in 6 minutes, whereas this reloads in 2 minutes and has 4 missiles. So if they're in the open, this is obviously better. And, you can always use this to snipe AA positions. It's just, I've been experimenting with this one because it's like a more reliable kill. It's just, it tends to, it costs more and it reloads for ages. So, whereas this just misses, right? And then it gets shot. So that's it for the deck reviews. Then we'll talk about the matchup, the deployments, and the game. And as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the map real quick. Blue's on the better side because he can rush Olga and he can rush Emma at the start. And Leonid is a lot closer than, Cyan, Anna, and Paul. So it's a blue side favoured map. In terms of the matchup, basically 6th US you'd expect to win early, but if the 25th Soviet player can sort of hang on, then eventually you'd expect him to win just by spamming tanks, which 6th US can really only deal with planes and Tow 2 Humvees, and 25th gets really nice arty, so they can just kind of sit there and pummel him to death. We saw in the deck review, which you didn't skip, that SuperPershing has brought a grad, We ended up saying that that needs to go to make room for other things. One thing you can do with 25th is, and I assume he's doing it because he's only got 5 units. Well, I mean, we'll get to it. The deployment's supposed to be done one at a time. So, yeah, we've got 6th US LRS going to here. That could go way further. The enemy, 25th Soviet, doesn't have airborne forward deployment. So this could literally just get to here. Anyway. Then a Humvee for Sign. Then 4 Max Vet Alaska Cab Scouts. And they're going. So, I mean, you want them to land near the buildings, really. Not only because the building will cover you from AA fire, because as you start going down, obviously they can't see you because of the grain silo. But also because then you want your guy to get in the building, right? As opposed to just being in the open. So you always want it's like, this is a perfect spot. I mean, it's quite aggressive, but it's a nice spot, sort of in isolation, right? Because you're going to get covered by the trees, whereas this is a terrible spot. So you got to think, where's the enemy plane going to come from? So actually, this is a bad spot because the planes are coming from here. So you'd want to be on this side to get that cover as fast as possible. It does make a difference. So yeah, he's heli rushing, and then he's got another LRS, but they're going like really conservative, which is weird because he's doing this. And then Airborne Dragon, Stinger, Navy SEALs, which haven't been pathed. Then we've got a CV for Anna, and then presumably Emma, and then two of the, these under supply. Switching to his opposed deployment, we have what is presumably going to be a lot of planes, because, like, where is everybody? He's opened 1 CV, and it's going on to Leonid. 1 Pulmachiki, which he intends to rush into Emma. 1 also recon tank. This is obviously a lot better than these, but it costs more than 3 times as much, so... But these don't have smoke, and their gun is kind of bad, so if this gets in range, it can just kill them, because... Especially if they get caught out, like here or something, well, they're not going to actually be able to get away because they can't smoke or anything. So, anyway, so we've got the recon helo, and I'm just going to assume there's a bunch of planes coming, like SU-25s. I did speak about it in the deck review, but I don't watch these games ahead of time because otherwise it'd be boring for me, basically. And, you know, that would make it boring for you, because if I'm bored, then obviously my commentary isn't as good. And then 1 BMP... Like, this should be a Pulmachiki, really, because... I mean, he's going to take so long to get there. The thing is, his opponent just isn't reading this at all. Like, this could literally, it could get to... I'm pretty sure it can actually get to here, but at the very least, you could just unload it here and move it up. So, because the enemy doesn't have airborne forward deployment. Anyways, let's cast the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners. Generously joiner in the channel, they get the names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. 1 joiner at the lowest level is... you want a 2v1 this, really. He was quite fortunate there, to be frank. Like, this probably should have killed that. Oh, well, I mean, it can do. Anyway, he definitely would have killed it if this had been in position. So, they get the names on the screen or whatever. Anyway, sort of perfect counter to this 6th US opener. You see, these are quite close to each other. And, yeah, the helo reveals the guys, and then the rockets kill the guys. So, that's how that's done. What you can also do is strafe the stingers. And yeah, blue just not prepared for this 25th Soviet opener. It's quite a popular one, honestly, to open with all the cool stuff. This is what we spoke about, where you land in the open and then you can't hear anything because of the sound of the rockets. So yeah, not great for blue, like, at all. Schmel deployed, which shows that... And that's quite smart, actually, because then you know how far you can bring this up. I would definitely be buying the other CV. It's only 70 points, and, you know, rather than this Pulmachiki, you could have a lot more points. And, yeah, that should be evac, and that should... Because they're completely out of everything. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So, T-64B1, this is... I don't watch them ahead of time. I honestly, I don't. So... You expect this to just beat him up, although it missed its first shot. It fires a lot faster. Obviously, they're firing 2 at once. But they don't have look. They don't have smoke, so they can't get out. Firing computer reset makes the accuracy go down a lot. Although he still hit him, so... yeah, it's pretty funny. Anyway, you see what I mean, that they can't get out, and this has the range. Why did he smoke? Oh, mate. would have won that fight. Would have won that fight. Well, to be honest, he probably would have just missed a bunch more times, and then these guys would have missed a bunch more times. But I suppose maybe he's worried about somebody coming over here, which frankly they should have been. So MI-24K goes down. One Alaska Scouts did make it, but yeah, the Navy SEALs should have been immediately trying to get over to here to shoot an AT-4 into the side of that. So I guess that's why he pulled back. I-Hawk deployed, and yeah, this is really something, man. So presumably that's about to die. Very dynamic game, though, I gotta say. It's pretty interesting so far. So, because this has an auto-loader, the rate of fire doesn't go down as it gets messed up, whereas these do. So, yeah, just strafing the... Okay, well, that's quite unfortunate. So, T-64B1 was routed, and the AA Helo has spotted the... to be honest, he needs to sort this one out first, because he's going... okay, Is he going to land? I think he might die. This is max vet, so it actually reloads quite quickly. So it's probably... No, just about makes it. The issue he's got now is that these guys could probably kill him at that HP. And, yeah, so... The 25th Soviet player's got to slow down a bit, I think. He's got the grads, he's got the tanks. He needs to buy a CV and sort this side out. He's not... I mean, obviously we have perfect information, but he's going to really struggle fighting in a town against 6th US, which is basically what 6th US is designed to do. It's designed to fight in a town. So he did well for himself stopping the enemy rush, but now he's got to, you know, sort this out, basically. Okay, so he bought the... He's not going for Paul. It's +2. Apparently +1's more important. So, yeah, we know he's got a grad in his deck. So what he has to do is stabilize this front line, buy a bunch more infantry and stuff. And maybe a couple of those cheap, yeah, like that'll do. Razved could be MP2. Stabilize all this, and then start pumping out the arty. But yeah, he really should be capping Paul, because, you know, it's +2. So it's kind of a shame that he's just walking right past that. It's like the enemy will win in 10 minutes if he doesn't do anything. So yeah, if you're blue in this situation, you want to keep the pressure up, so I think this is actually quite a good idea. You know, he doesn't have perfect information. I guess he has to wait for these to heal, but, you know, you could send one unit forwards and... What's going on? Let's just send the LRS, get him up to here, maybe, see if you get shot. You can always run away. This, yes, you can turn off shooty and put it up here, and then you'll be able to see that there's actually nothing here, and then he'll be able to attack, so... Right now, the momentum's with blue, and red really needs to... Okay, he's realised what's going on. Red really needs to stabilise the situation, because he... Yeah, so I think this is cool from blue, attacking in the other place. Yeah, the Schmells are really hard to deal with. Okay. CV... Yeah, I don't understand why that CV was there, frankly. That was kind of dumb. Eagle should have probably evac'd a second ago. I think it takes 15 seconds to evac, but yeah, so I guess that would have got him anyway. Yeah, these are really good planes. Anyway, so yeah, blue needs to push, but I guess it's kind of hard when these rocket planes keep killing everybody, so just make it harder, right? Like that, do you know what I mean? Okay, so yeah, the Eagles obviously sort them out, and now that the range has gone up, these can actually fight the 25th Soviet players' stuff because they have the same range on the missiles. It's just this still has more accuracy than the Sparrow, as you can see. Like, so this is a better plane than that, even though it costs more. Even though it's like, you can just see, right? It is just way better. So it's kind of dumb, but there it is. So he's lost 2 Eagles now, and that's really slowed him down. So given red a chance, I think he left this on shooting. Although frankly, there's a lot of recon here, so I guess they probably saw him anyway. But yeah, blue needs to keep up the pressure, I feel. It's just difficult with all the planes. So yeah, the I-Hawk purchase one, okay. I would have gone for one I-Hawk and resupplied this maybe with this and put the CV next to it, and one I-Hawk and like one Stinger. Basically, when he bought all this, there should have been a Stinger in it. It's just easy to forget. So, because yeah, look, he can easily push this. There's nobody here. I disagree with putting the sniper in the deck. It can work. It's just, there's usually something better to bring. And, is that still technically in the zone, apparently? Okay. So yeah, I-Hawks are coming up without a supply, and he's just leaving them in the open instead of putting them in tree lines to give them extra stealth. It's not Broken Arrow, In Broken Arrow, if you put them in the trees, they don't work properly. Or at least they didn't used to. They said they'd fix it, but they say they'll fix lots of things, and then they don't fix it. Well, they say it's fixed, then you see it again, and you're like, well, didn't you fix this one? And then people tell you that you're just a Warno fan gay or whatever. It's like, honestly, democracy was a mistake. So Zelboba really should have pushed his advantage here. He had a huge advantage here, and he just didn't push. So now he's losing his momentum a bit. There's something to be said for, like, there's nobody here. There's literally nobody there. You could just walk in. So yeah, it's a big shame. So Schmel revealing everybody, like, just send forwards one guy. You got all this fire support. Isn't that what it's all for? But yeah, he doesn't bring the recon helo, which we spoke about in the deck review. Another Eagle purchased. I mean, it's probably gonna. Well, he's not okay. So he's apparently the drone's more important. Wow, that was just bad luck, really. One shot, two shot, both Eyehawks miss. Oh, dear. Yeah, what can I say? Clearly a very, very bad player, and Red, clearly a very good player. What a wonderful game. What a joke, honestly. And but yeah, if he hadn't been focusing down that drone, he would have been able to shoot back, which might help. So in the meantime, Blue just sort of feeding here. He's fed 3 Eagles now in the space of about 5 minutes, so his late game's going to be absolutely awful. And he's fed all this position, basically, because now Red can just put more guys in. He's gone for quite disconcerting. I'm not sure why he's going over there, but you can't see what we see, so... Lots of BMP2 showing up now. Typically, like, you'd want a Conkers, right? In here, because religious people can see further than atheists. You get that in there. You can see long. You can see long. You can see very far. I remember when this was first discovered, actually, because people didn't used to do this, and then I saw T-Man doing it, actually, and I was like, whoa, and then I started telling everybody, right, as you do. I don't know. I mean, I've met players who essentially they'll try and keep their competitive advantage by just sharing as little information as possible. Whereas I went for the exact opposite approach. I figured I'll tell everybody, and then people will want to watch my videos because they get the details, and I'll win that way, right? So there's lots of people who beat me because they've got access to like 2,000 videos of me playing, so they know what I'm gonna do. so tournaments for me are a bit of a nightmare, but in general, you know, I want you guys to get good videos, so just figure I might as well just tell you, right? Anyway, you see the power of the drone. The Eyehawks can't shoot it. It's really stupid. It's really dumb, because they're like, oh, it's too small to appear on radar. For starters, it's fucking massive. It's the size of the helicopter. Okay, well, that's not entirely true. But it's very loud. And, yeah, you would think if you... Yeah, whatever. So you need the Stingers, but they also have like 50% hidden ECM, which isn't displayed. You gotta unload! You gotta unload! I mean, if you see ATGMs coming towards you, you either smoke or unload. Unloading's faster. But the smoke you have to do earlier, right? Because, obviously... Right, well, I mean, that was a bit dumb, wasn't it? Does happen. So he could have smoked that, right? Or he could have smoked the one in front of it or anything, but, you know, it does happen. So this is like, you gonna smoke? It's not gonna smoke. This Humvee tow is getting a lot of value. Okay, looks like it's had enough now. Yep. And yeah, the drone power, right? So the Stinger's dead, so he's got to buy another one. And now 6th US is trying to buy planes when he completely lost air superiority, right? His Eagles lost to the MiGs, and frankly, it was because he kept buying them one at a time. I think all 4 of them are dead now, actually, because didn't he lose the one at the start as well? Anyway, you see how effective this is, right? Wow, look at that. But he's getting shot by fighters, and, you know... wow, okay, well, there you go. The Eyehawks finally hit something. Not a moment too soon. But yeah, you know, he could move this up to here, for example. He could put the CV next to it to vet it, that sort of thing. And like on this side, the mist, as soon as you buy the arty, you want it to fire because it reloads while moving. So as soon as it comes in, you just tell it to shoot something. And honestly, if you don't know where they are, you just, okay, well, he's probably in the town. You just aim for the front of the town. Or you aim for, like, the IHOC's just fired, right? And then you move it up while it's reloading. This isn't doing anything, so you click it, Shift F, click on the mister. And another thing is you never buy 2 arty in 2 minutes. Which I think is what he's just done. Because you end up, like 5 minutes later, you lose on the front lines because it takes time for you guys to get there. And it's not immediately, like, so... This is a big problem. Okay. That's one way of doing it, I suppose. Because, yeah, 6th US wants to use its planes, but you can't do that if he's lost all his Eagles, because the enemy's got a load of fighters, but he's only got 2 left now, I think. 2 SU-27s. So maybe he can make it work. But yes, these should just be shooting the A. These aren't moving. So as soon as it fires, you should ping it. The Eyehawk's a great one. Like Stingers, it can be harder to tell because you only have if you don't see exactly which building they come out of, you don't know, right? But the Eyehawk is a massive missile. It's very easy to spot, and you just F1 click, F1 click, F1 click, and it'll ping all 3. That's how you do it so fast. You don't click the button. You F1 click, F1 click, F1 click, and then you just queue up your orders: shoot, move, shoot, move, shoot, move, and you put the CV next to them so they shoot faster. So yeah, look, he's queued up a shoot-move order here, so that's good that he's doing that. And yeah, the VADs are really good against infantry, as you can see. But yeah, it's just a shame that Zelboba, he just kind of... He had it and he sort of threw it away. And now SuperPershing is... I mean, the thing is, SuperPershing needs to take his own, right? Because he's 700 points behind, so he needs to take his own at some point. And yeah, the RT makes sense. We know he's got a grad. So, like, once he sorts this out properly, so, like, he needs another unit here, another tank, maybe another BMP2. He needs some AA, like, there's no AA. So he's got some Cubs and Bruces. But, like, an Igler in here, yeah, Conquers in the church. Because they can see further than Atheists. Once he's done all that, then you buy the grad, and then you, you know... But, yeah, to come back to this, I've seen a lot of games, and I've played games myself where I've done this, where I've bought an RT piece, and then I've just bought the next one. Without buying any normal units, and it's very risky. Like you can get away with it. It's just what you'll find is that you can lose on the front line because you know, buying the RT like this is an investment. It has to kill 230 points of units to pay for itself, so it's a very safe investment. Pays to think of this game like an economist. So a plane is it's like basically high risk, high reward. Because it costs a load of money, it can die to all sorts of rubbish, crits, whatnot. It's basically a slot machine. And the thing is, it's got a really big payload, super fast. It pays for itself basically in the first 10 seconds, because it takes 10 seconds to get there. Within a minute, it's paid for itself, or it hasn't. Whereas the RT, you buy it, and it takes like a good, like, 10 minutes for this to... I mean, it depends what you shoot, right? If you get the Eyehawks, then it's going to be faster, but it can take like a good 10 minutes for these to pay for themselves. And so you gotta consider that you're going to be very weak on the front line until that pays for itself, because you've paid for something that isn't doing anything for you, if that makes sense. And that's the same reason why when you buy it, it should fire straight away. So... You know, it's funny, I did an AS level in economics, and they've changed it now, but it's basically like a 1-year qualification when you're 17. And that was very useful. It taught me a lot about the world. It's probably the most useful qualification I've done, I think, in terms of how much value I got out of it for how much work I put in. Because, yeah, that's how I see it. I just see it like that, because that's how I was taught, and I don't know. Anyway. I'm just, you know, nothing's happening, so... More positional fighting, right? And yeah, you really should just click this, Shift F, click on the misters, and you want it to shoot, move, shoot, move, shoot, move. Typically, you want them in the open, because if they're in a forest, they're slower. And the same is true for like... So, because I said you got to put these in a forest, but I mean like you put them on the edge of the forest, or you put them in like a thin line of trees like this. You just had it in the open, so it got shot, because it's supposed to be stealthy, right? But it's obviously not if... It's just in the open. So this is... I did speak about this in the deck review, how, you know, so like the cluster 1 takes ages to reload and whatnot, but this one just misses. So it's swings and roundabouts. But there you go, then it hit. And yeah, SU-27, okay. Cubs not resupplied. Need some more Cubs, really. But the Eyehawks, oh, one of them's dead, but... Okay, so it's making up for that RNG from earlier. And both sides, I think Red's only got one fighter left now, so he's going to struggle against blue stuff. He needs to buy some Cubs. He's buying a Cub Briusa combo. The idea is, yeah, the Cub deals 9 damage, the Briusa deals 1. So yeah, it can make sense to buy them together. And yeah, I was saying something, I guess it wasn't important. So yeah, the drone's really useful. You want these shooting all the time. Yes, you don't want them in deep forest, you want them on the edge of a forest so that they get the stealth bonus, but when you move them, they can move faster. Whereas if you're going through the forest, it tends to get you killed. And that's true for like, so basically like all tanks, like if you got a tank, you don't want it sat in the middle of the forest, you want it on the edge, but well, there's a case to be made to not having it on the edge, because then basically you want enough LOS that you can shoot, but you don't want any more LOS than that so that you don't get ATGM'd, or at least when the ATGM shoots you, you can immediately shoot back. So like say this is 1925, you actually want it to be like that, as opposed to like this, because then this is a perfect example, the Humvee Tow 2 would shoot you, and you wouldn't be able to shoot him back, so you actually just want it as, you know, as close in as possible, really. So, counter battery coming out, so this is why you fire and move, right? But yeah, you don't want them in the deep forest. You want them to be able to move as fast as possible. And yeah, a lot of it is like LOS, working around LOS and stuff, so Warno's a bit different to Red Dragon. So in Red Dragon, like one tree will like stop all vision behind the tree sort of thing. In a way, anyway. Whereas in Warno, it's like Wi-Fi vision. Like Wi-Fi vision, so the more trees are in the way, the more the optical power is reduced. I think that's a more realistic system. There is a mod called Rebs Frago, which makes it like how I'm describing it, where, like, so this would just be... You wouldn't be able to see past this tree line. Do you see what I mean? So, like, you would not have any LOS here if you were here. So, it's a very slow mod. It's designed for people who want to play slow games, if that's your thing. It's free, right? I personally prefer fast games, so I covered it once and I really didn't like it because I just found it very slow and boring. Anyway, the issue that Blue has is that his RT is towed and it's not as good, it doesn't fire as fast, right? This reloads quite quickly, it's got a nice salvo length, that sort of thing. You actually see this, okay, this actually reloads slow, but you see the rate of fire is higher, right? But yeah, the CV should be next to it. And, you know, you got to assume that Red wants to push here, although he's really, like, there should be a unit here, and yeah, the VADS is decent at dealing with the drone, if it can see it, like, the range is obviously not great. And yeah, once your Conquer shoots, you want to move it, and just into, like, one building to the left can work. Because that does happen. Here we go, he's actually, you see he's got a CV next to it. So, yeah, if you're Blue, basically, you just want to keep the pressure up. So, for example, I would buy a mortar, and I'd get a couple infantry, and I would smoke here, and I would run them into here. That's a popular spot, because it means that when they do attack here, because you know he has to attack you, so he's either coming for this, or he's coming for this, because he's not getting to Anna, is he? He has to attack you if he wants to win. So, you can do that, and also I would be pressuring this constantly. Yeah, that was optimistic. So yeah, he is attacking here, which is cool, but you've got to... You don't just, like, buy 10 million things, right? So basically, okay, he is now attacking you, so what you should do is either double down on this and just go full YOLO, and he would get in if he did that, or you swing these over to here, because they're not deployed yet. Alright, so you see the Seed, it does actually fire both its missiles now, and you see it misses twice there. Smiley face. And, okay, at least it didn't get hit. I mean, it's got 60% ECM and all that. So, yeah, this is sort of go time now for red, clearly. He's smoking all this, so he can't be shot from here. Because, like, this should be here, basically, but it's not. But if it was, it wouldn't be able to shoot, so there you go. And, yeah, he's doing a big attack. Typically, you want to... Well, there's a case to be made for not keeping them in the transports. If you know he's not got good tanks, and he doesn't, then there's nothing that's just going to go BAM! And kill you. You're going to see the missile. You're going to see the ATGM, which means you've got time to smoke it. You've got time to unload it. Obviously, once you get an infantry AT range, you want to unload. Like, right here, basically. So, yeah. Blue needs to attack here, and he is. He is attacking there. So, pretty cool. We'll just look at it like this so we can see both sides. AT plane, so we spoke about how these get one shot, whereas the BVs don't by the 30 AP missiles. So this is a case where you would always want the BB ones. These are obviously something else entirely. They're the really cheap one, which you always want. But when you play ranked, you don't know which one you're going to get, so you might as well go for the ones that are going to survive the 30 AP missile, in my opinion. So, yeah, basically, Zelboba needs a Tow Cobra back here, because you'll note that red has bought no Iglas. His Bruyusas are all the way back here, right? You don't just keep it next to the Cub. You want it, obviously, because otherwise the plane's going to be here, the Cub's going to shoot, and the Bruyusa's not going to shoot, because it's never going to get in range. Sort of like that. So yeah, one Tow Cobra here, well then all this would just be dying. And if you're red, you really should have mixed one or two Iglas. Two Iglas would be nice into this push. Thing is, there's no Tow Cobra, and all the units are here, so looks like blue is getting in on that side, so that's cool. But he is very much losing this. So another thing you do is you fall back with your infantry so they don't get shot. The last SU-25. Okay, so now he's got the Tow Cobras. Airborne coming in. Remember, he's only got one card of Navy SEALs for whatever reason. I do like the smoke. He sent the transports forwards, but that, I mean, I guess, you know, if you're doing a big attack, it can make sense just have a bit more there. Issue is you're going to get counter-batteried. Question is, will you? But these guys, like, because you're never going to hit this, because it's moving, so you should just be immediately aiming for these. You know, one on each one or whatever, or two on one and one on the other. In the meantime, the CV was stood here and got artilleried, so that's obviously not ideal. The Tow Cobras are starting to clean up, it's just they're already in the town. So, you know, the damage has been done. Ihawk's about to get BMP2'd, it seems. Yeah. So, I'm not sure what to say, really. Bluey sort of neglected his defences here to do this. Like, you can doing this is great, but you obviously don't want to neglect what's going on over here in order to do it. And, you know, too many planes, not enough ground units, basically. So, yeah, it's obviously not ideal. Like, like these could be running in, because he's got the Tow Cobras killing the guys, right? So he could be in here, but... he's on aggressive, okay. So they're automatically running out of their cover there to die, which is why I don't like having defensive or aggressive on. Either way, he's trying to get in here, and if his CV had kept moving, it obviously wouldn't have died, right? So that's not ideal. This is... I mean, you would assume it's not going to make it. And yeah, just doubling down on the healers. Like it's about the composition. So he should have had one Tow Cobra here before it started, and then just a bunch of infantry, mortars for smoke, you know, a couple Humvee tows, and he should have immediately hit those smoke mortars, because now he's got 4 helos, and you know, now like what's that for? So in the meantime, he has got in here if he chooses to. He just doesn't choose to, it seems. And honestly, what he should do at this point is put somebody, Humvee Tow 2 here, airborne in here, and everybody else should be piling into Olga, because he's got a foothold in here, and it's all the enemies are over here. But you see SuperPershing is transferring some of his units, because he's read that. So yeah, it was a good attack from red. You saw the smoke to cover enemy fire support positions. You saw the only thing he was missing was man pads, but blue didn't actually have any helos out until it was too late. So you see he switched off the radar, and then you switch it back on, yeah, and then okay, I guess the Cobra does take precedence. And yeah, so I said, look, he's coming over here. Well, why? This is lost. you just got to give up on that. If you take this, then the tickle stops. So, yeah. Anyway, at least he is sort of holding this with toe cobras and whatnot. And yeah, see, he's focusing the enemy AA, so your AA should move after it shoots, and these are self-propelled, so that's good. And then he needs infantry, and both sides need infantry in here, I guess. SuperPershing's got that going on. Blue has decided to sort of hedge his bets a bit. I mean, yeah, you do have to defend this, because if you're red in this instance, you actually do want to get this guy, and get this CV. Yeah, it's exactly what you want to do. It's good. I'd like to think this is because people are watching my videos. In the meantime, you've just seen the arty fire. It's not moving. Just try and counter battery that. A lot of it's about knowledge as well. If you know the enemies. So he did actually cap this. Interesting. I guess he's not making it. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if he, because obviously there's planes as well. So even if this, never mind. Yeah, the Humvee CV got blown up, I suppose. These guys are on move orders, not attack move. Okay. And then this is the thing. So the Alaskan Cav Scouts were at 3 vet at the start, if you recall. Whereas if they're at 2 vet, you could have got an Alaskan Cav Scout around here to pull. I think I do bring... Do I bring guys in regular Blackhawks, like a card of air rifles or something? In 6th US? I can't remember. I don't think I do. I like having the light rifles. Anyway, this is sort of what we spoke about, right? So, like, not... Okay, this will now engage. And yeah, you need an infantry in here as well, because this can be overwhelmed, right? This can just shoot you. He's not got recon, so he won't actually see it. Okay, this is very dead. So, yeah. But this tendency to just buy 2 of one thing, and then 2 of the next thing, and then 2 of the next thing. At least he's not buying, like, 5 of one thing. It's just, obviously, like, you know, what if a helo comes? Right? So you want to pivads there or something. Or you can cover it with your fighters if it's that close to your base. And what if infantry comes, right? So that's why it's nice to have sort of one of everything. I think the work with the Prowler's been quite good. SuperPershing's been a little bit sloppy, frankly, because will this shoot again? It's actually switched on, so... Yeah, alignment impossible. This is the bug I was talking about. Anyway, yeah, it's looking pretty diabolical for Blue now. I mean, he had it, but he's lost Emma, and he almost got Olga out of it, but he didn't. And so now he's just in a really rough spot, because the enemy's on a +2. And there's 10 minutes left, which means... So it's 6... So that's 360 times 2. It's about 720 points. Yeah, so he can still draw, I guess. He just needs to make sure he doesn't lose any more. I think, let's get the calculator up. So yeah, 9 minutes and 32 seconds. So 9 minutes 30. So that's like 9 times by 60 plus 30. Right, divided by 1.5. Okay, times by 2 is 760, and it was at what, 220 or something. So plus 220. Yeah, he would draw. So he just has to make sure he doesn't lose any more. The thing is, it's kind of hard to make those calculations on the fly. I've certainly fallen foul of that before, and lost games that I thought I would win and whatnot. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, there's no infantry in here, so, you know, it's probably going to get in, unless he notices. In the meantime, Blue did eventually get air superiority. There's still a bunch of cubs left, but apart from that, all the red fighters went down. Like, he was winning the fight, and then this last eagle, because I thought he was out, but clearly he has one left. This last eagle's been able to sort of swing it, mainly because red kept diving into the IORs, not artillerying them and whatnot. So, yeah, this is so far. If it ends here, it's gonna be a draw, as in, like, if nothing else changes. But I'm just watching this, and that's a +2, and that would swing it. That would swing it, and Blue, like I said, you know, just buying too much of one thing, really. It's interesting he still had seals left. He's only just bought it now. Really good unit. He only had one card as well, so... Anyway, you know, Artie not moving. This is going on the IHOT. Great. And the Corsairs have done quite a bit of work. The AT Corsairs, they got the CV right. The 3 Bruces being bought. Looks like he's gonna get in. Oh, man, is that really how it's gonna be? And you see the power of the Mr. Bean, right? This is the Mr. S, never mind. There is a Mr. Bean. Seals just go forwards and get shot. People panicking, basically. He's going on the cub, but the cub has moved, so that's what it's about. And here you go, so... Right, we got a little bit greedy there. If he'd actually done what he was going to do originally, it wouldn't have been able to shoot him, but it's still a +4. So, Blue needs to buy a CV immediately. But the tick has just happened, so now he can buy a CV. Does he have any left? Where's the CV? He's buying some airborne. This is presumably the one from before, so... Where's the... I mean, come on, really? She's not buying it. Time is of the essence. Anyway, yeah, this is a good RT target. Quite surprised these can't see that, actually. I suppose they're only good optics. He's got Helo seat, yeah? Anna? Cap Anna? I don't think he's noticed. I don't think he's realised, because this just kind of auto-fired, right? So I don't actually think he's noticed. It does make a big beeping sound, but if you're paying attention to something else, then... Because, like, yeah, this would be perfect. He could have bought that, like, a full minute ago and just dropped that on Anna's, but, you know... Could have got a draw, you know. Looks like he's just gonna lose. That's a shame. I think Red played quite a good game, you know? Like, this attack was cool. He never bought the Grad, though, which, you know, if you've got it in the deck, you kind of want that out by, like, the 10th minute or whatever, so it can actually pay for itself. You don't want to buy it too early, right? For the same reason you don't buy any RT too early, but... Yeah, he could have got that out, because it would have helped him with the town. But it is what it is. Like, 1 Mr. S for ATGM positions, and the Grad just for hitting the town. Yeah, it looks like this isn't making it in. And I'm going to assume that's the end of the game, because, yeah, I was within 4 seconds. 5 seconds, even. So yeah, really interesting game. It's a shame about how it ended. Like, he actually could have drawn Mr. Zellbober, but I guess he didn't realise. So, SuperPershing, rank 309 with a 67% win rate, 12 games. And Zellbober, rank 1,530 with a 30% win rate. Okay, ouch. He played a lot better than somebody... I thought he played quite well. Don't think he deserves that rank. He should keep playing. I guess maybe he just plays loads of different divs. Who knows? Anyway. Yeah, so really strong start from Red. And then Blue kind of pulled it back in the mid-game. And then Red pushed him out at the end. So it was a very dynamic game. Like, look at that opener. Blue just didn't prepare for it. You basically have to open, like, 3 eagles, I guess. Or 2 eagles, at least. But then the enemy opened 2 MiG-29, so it would have to be 3. But opening 3 eagles, man, that's hard. It is hard to justify. And then he might not do it. He might just buy the recon tanks. Yeah, it's a tough one. Anyways, I'll see you in the next game. GG.